Good evening. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to our Sunday edition of our leadership call. My name is Miriam Kareem, and I'm so happy to have you all here this evening so that we can grow our businesses and really get fit. I know our fit challenge is on and popping, as they say, but I have a quick tip from the Newbie Corner. I was thinking about this today. Um, I believe Coach Will mentioned I was in the trenches. And I think everybody's has been like that at some point in their life when things are really hard. And I was thinking a lot about what Coach Seymour was talking about last week, your 20 reasons why, revisiting those. And it really, when you do that, you don't even have to um, possibly, have somebody to talk to you. Say, well, remember your 20 reasons why. Go back to your 20 reasons why when you're frustrated, when life is life, and as they say, or when you're just not having the results that you wanted, be a little bit more consistent with what you need to be doing and go back and read because that should give you the energy, the boost that you really need to think about. Yeah, I did want to do that. Yeah, I did want to help my parents do this. Yeah, I did want to make sure my parents knew that I would be okay. That I'll be stable. They would never have to worry. That's one of my 20 reasons why, actually. But revisit those 20 reasons why, and trust me, those worries and trenches, as I say, that you're going through, it'll just be okay next. So that being said, I'd like to introduce you all to our teacher tonight, Coach Will Zanders. He is a multiple seven-figure earner in the network marketing world, a seven-figure earner at our Green Organics company at HBN, and our first six-figure earner over at Bodhisana. An amazing teacher, always knows how to get our businesses to where they need to be. So, Coach Will Zanders, are you available, sir?
I am available. Miriam, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right. I am traveling this weekend. I appreciate you so much for hosting this call. Coach Marcus, I appreciate you as well. So I won't be on camera. Got to hop off for notes. But ladies and gentlemen, Miriam's not joking. When she says there's a certain period of time that you have to be in the trenches in order to achieve success in this business, that is 100% accurate. And it's been that way for the over 100 years that network marketing has actually been a thing. The thing I can tell you is someone kind of been there and done that is that A, yes, you will have to be in the trenches, putting in the difficult work, but B, I can tell you it's only temporary and you don't have to do it forever. And I think that's the best part. You don't have to do it forever. And the work that you put in, if you just kind of rip the band-aid off and get it over with, just get out of your own way, get it over with. The fact that that residual income and residual health and a more robust health, those two things will give you a certain level of peace in your life that is very difficult to describe. So keep pushing, get it over with. On the days that you don't want to do it, please do it anyway, because the one day that you decide to, all right, I'm not going to prospect today, not going to send any messages today, not going to show the plan today, might use some products or not today, not going to post anything today. It only feels like one day to you. But that one day you miss could have been the one day that the person saw your post or got your message, or they were at high noon when you did the presentation. And that would have been the thing that set you free. No joke. That's how it happens. So that being said, let me hop off camera, go ahead and get with these notes so we can stay on track and I can get back rolling toward my domicile. It's been a long weekend, and I absolutely love the freedom to be able to do it. I could stay a little bit longer, but I love being home with the family. So that being said, let's go ahead and knock this out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you already know it. Vegas, January the 11th, 12th, and 13th in Las Vegas, January 2026. If you don't already have your ticket or at least one ticket for the team member that you intend to bring, I don't know what to tell you. Quite frankly, I don't know how serious you are about this business. And I adopted that mindset from one of our mentors, one of my plugged in uplines in my very first network marketing company. This young lady was making over $2.2 million a year with my first company. And she came to Louisiana to do a meeting. And she asked me, she said, Will, are you coming to the event in Salt Lake City, Utah? And I said, absolutely not. I'm just getting started in this thing. That costs money. She said, you're going to be attending online. I said, absolutely not. That costs money. Them tickets were like 150 online, over $200 to attend in person. I said, I have no intention on attending at all. Well, she said, well, you are not going to be successful in this business. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't go. I didn't go to the first event ever. And people came back, and I was only in the business, I guess, around a month at that time. I made a little bit of money, quite frankly. If I had to move some stuff around, I could have went, but I didn't feel like it. I didn't see the value. And I'm gonna say that again. People who do not attend events online or in person, the only reason people don't attend is because they don't see the value. They don't know the value. Okay, that's particularly why they don't do it. And people came back from that event, and they were equal to my level. Some of them were passing me up very, very quickly in the business. I wasn't excited about it. And so the next event, I said, there's no way I'm going to miss that event because my pride was hurt. So yes, I made my money back. Yes, I doubled my money that I had spent my first 2 weeks in network marketing. But at the end of the day, the thing that really put me to another level was going to that first event that I went to. And I regretted not going to that particular first event. But again, it was just pride and ignorance, and I didn't know any better. And I didn't understand that all the people who were making the money I wanted to make were all there. So there wasn't nothing going on when I stayed home and stayed in town in Louisiana, because everybody was in Salt Lake City, creating memories, sharing experiences. Everybody was online. Nobody was doing what I was doing. So Vegas is going to be incredible. For those of you who've already been to at least one of our Las Vegas boot camps, please put in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10 how emotionally impactful it was, how powerful it was for you. And, did you take any memories away from that event? You don't have to type out the memories. I know it's probably a ton of them, but just put in the chat how emotionally impactful that event was and whether or not you have some lifelong memories. Some people, I'm not going to name any names, they tell me that the events we have are the closest thing that they've been to in a vacation in 20 years. For some reason, they can never find the time, money, energy, effort to ever go on a vacation. They never go. They get burnt out from work, burnt out from family and everything else. But when they come to an event, they say, well, listen, that's the only vacations I ever get. And that speaks to them and it speaks to me. So I'll see y'all in Vegas. Cannot wait. Going to be amazing. Also, too, as Miriam mentioned, the Ageless Athletes Fitness Challenge is in full swings. Team captains, we're in a chat so they know that these first numbers are going to be added to next week's numbers because we haven't had the full week yet, but they know to turn those numbers in on Friday. And I'll be announcing the week 1 winners and week 1 award winners on next Sunday's call. All right. So let's dive into some information tonight. And we've really been on this heavy kick lately about being good with something and being good without. If you really want to get stuff done, and I know that this is counterintuitive, okay? First off, I know that this doesn't make sense to most people, but I'm going to say it again because it's so important. You have to be emotionally detached from the specific thing that you want, otherwise you'll never have it. Why? Because if you want to be a diamond, and you want to be a diamond so bad, I want to be a 6-figure diamond, not just any old diamond. I want to be a 6-figure diamond. I want a diamond that's made at least $100,000. If you really want that really, really badly, I didn't say work hard. I didn't say like that. I just said, if you really want it mentally, I really want it. I want it so bad. What is the state of wanting telling your mind? What is the state of I want it telling your subconscious mind? Thank you, Coach Marcus. It's telling your subconscious mind that you don't have it. I want this so bad. And that is why if you talk to most people, I don't care if it's in the hood or anywhere, you talk to people, they're going to tell you, I want to be rich so bad. I want a big house and a pool and a hot tub so bad. I want land and investments. I want to be a diamond so bad. Then they will always want that, because if you want it that bad, you're telling your mind, you're telling yourself on a deep subconscious level that I don't have it, because if I had it, I wouldn't want it. Well, sure, I'd be grateful for it. I'd be happy to have it, but I wouldn't want it because I already have it. Will, do you want to be 6'4"? No, I don't want to be 6'4". Why? Because I already am. I already got it. And that's why jealousy is such a painful thing that we see in the network marketing industry. You cannot afford to be jealous of anything that anybody has, because the state of jealousy, which I see so much in this world of social media and this, that, and the third, okay? The state of jealousy is literally, when they say a mental state or you're in the state of jealousy, that's a place, by the way. Just like the United States of America, some people are in the United States of jealous. And when they're in the United States of jealous and that's where they live, it's reaffirming every single day that I don't have what the other person has. I want it so bad. Okay. I want it so bad. So you just got to understand, you have to be in a position where you're good with it and good without it. Well, Will, how do I get to that point? Well, I write down my goals. I've already programmed my mind for the fact that I want my 20 reasons why. I know what they are. It's not about wanting them, it's believing that I either have them or on the way to have them. Okay. Well, how do we get there? Sometimes you have to do the exercise. We're not going to do it tonight, but sometimes you have to do the exercise where you simply go through the scenarios and the positives and negatives of having the thing, as well as experiencing the opposite of that thing. And although we don't have time for it tonight, we have several recordings where we go through that exercise with you. And it's like having a negative and a positive charge on a car battery. You need both to make it work. Okay. Put a 1 in the chat if you've had any type of emotional detachment or peace about certain things from that particular set of exercises we did. I really love those exercises. And I'm gonna tell you, I got a list. This is no exaggeration. I have a list of about 80 to 90 things and states and different opportunities, different things I want to accomplish and want to do, that I have to go sit down and spend hours and hours and hours and do exercises on every one of those. Just understand, the work is never really done insofar as the work you do on yourself. The network marketing work, you can get that over with, get paid and keep it moving with the wonders of residual income. But as far as the work on yourself, that I just don't think that has an end. And quite frankly, I wouldn't want it to end even if it did. All right. Now let's move on. I'm not going to be giving you a lot of detailed script information after tonight's call. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Everything you could possibly need to know to make the money that I myself personally have made and helped others make that type of money is in 2 books. Okay. We got the book for rookies, Making Your First $1 Million. And you have the advanced book for network marketing veterans or people who want to help other people make $100,000. And that's The Hidden Empire. So all that's in there. I don't need to spend or waste any of your time on calls for the next couple of weeks where we're talking about how to do this or how to do that. Okay. There are going to be certain calls where we tell you maybe how to do things better, or maybe calls that will shift your mind, like the call tonight is going to do. But tonight is going to be the last call. The information at the end is going to be one of the last times when I'm really going to give you kind of how to do information, because you know it all. I mean, I'm just being honest. You might not know it all, but you know enough to make $100,000. And I'll explain how to break that down. Well, Will, I've only made $1,000. I understand. But before we get off this call, you will understand how exactly how the fact that you have already made $1,000 in commissions means that you already know what it takes to make $100,000. I'm going to show you. I know it sounds weird. Well, I don't really believe that yet. I am going to help you understand that tonight. Okay, put a 1 in the chat if you want to learn that tonight. Will, I've only made $1,000. How do you show me that I've already know what it takes to make 100,000? I need that belief. I need that faith in myself. You'll get it. And thank you, Coach Marcus. Coach Marcus just dropped the link to the books in the chat. If you don't have those, I highly recommend you do. One of the number one things you can do is have a copy of that, give it to one of your new reps and say, hey, read the first 3 chapters of this book and let me know when you're done. Okay, read the first 3 chapters of this book. Let me know when you're done. That's one of the best leadership tests you will ever experience in life. One of the best leadership tests. Why? Because if a person won't read 3 chapters of a very, very, very short book, and I mean very short book, maybe 100 pages, if they won't read the first 3 chapters, do you think they are going to watch Lord knows how many hours of video? Do you think, thank you, Clarence, I think it's an outstanding read too. Do you think they are going to spend $150 to $300 a month on products if they won't read the first 3 chapters of a book? Okay, do you think they're going to write down and take an hour to write down the 20 reasons why and top 4 and build a picture collage and get little sticky notes from the store and put them all over the place so they ain't going to do dang or nothing. Okay, they ain't going to do dang or nothing. And when you give them a book, what you actually can do is you can actually get the book back from them And that gives you a chance to follow up with them just to see what happened and why they weren't productive. Okay, but that being said, let's continue. Now, I don't want you to think that you have to know anything more than you already know. I'm just going to tell you straight. I just don't think so. All right. Because the more you learn, the more you're going to want to study. Now, this is coming from a lifelong learner. I'm telling you, I absolutely love to learn. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love to learn. But listen, as far as making money, the more you learn, the more you are going to want to study. And here's where it gets very, very dark. This is a very, very scary statement, but it's the truth. Listen very closely. The more you study, the more you want to learn, the more you learn, the more you want to study. But the more you study, the more you realize you didn't know. Okay? I'm going to say that again. The more you study, the more you realize, my gosh, there's so much that I don't know. And the more you realize that you don't know, the more stuff out there that you realize you don't know, here's the worst part. The less belief, conviction, and faith you have in what you do know. Okay, this is why the books are short. Okay, and the first book is Making Your First Million in Network Marketing. Second book is called The Hidden Empire. All right, this is why they're short, because everything's been distilled down. I didn't waste any words in those books. They're very short, 100 pages, all you need to know. Okay, but let me say that statement again. Let me say that statement again. This is coming from somebody who's read hundreds of books, not just in personal development, but hundreds of books in network marketing. And I can tell you, all right, the more you learn, the more you're going to want to learn. The more you study, the more confident you're going to feel. It feels good to learn. It feels good to become more confident because you know more. But the subconscious side of that, because remember, there's a positive and a negative to nearly everything. Okay, just understand that. The more you learn and study, the more you realize on the subconscious level that there's so much more you don't know. And when you realize that there is a ton of stuff that you don't know or maybe will never know, that's the surface level problem. The real problem is the more you realize you don't know, the less, listen, the less conviction, belief, and faith you will have in what you do know. There it is. Okay. So Will, I already made, $1,300. So excited about that. But now, if you don't get focused on helping other people make that, guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to keep learning, keep studying, not doing, keep learning, keep studying, not doing. And you're going to subconsciously develop a belief whereby you have less and less and less conviction, belief, and faith in what you do know. All right. Now, when you have conviction, belief, and faith, CBF, not CBS, the news, but CBF, when you have conviction, belief, and faith that you can turn $1,000 into $10,000, well, how do you do that? I'm going to tell you right now. Sounds simple, but it's the truth. And this is wisdom of the ages success principles that I'm about to give you. Techniques change all the time. I'm going to give you some techniques later on the call. And again, I'm not going to be doing a lot of technique calls, but I like these tonight. And I'll give you a little bit of technique calls at the end of this call. And again, I apologize in advance. I'm not going to be giving you a lot of learning on the calls moving forward for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be focused on doing what we already know how to do. Okay. But the way that you turn $1,000 into 10,000 or 10,000 into 100,000 or 5,000 into 50,000, this is very simple, very, very simple. All right. Wisdom of the ages principles do not change. Techniques change. Social media algorithms change. Scripts change. Okay. Different ways of contacting people change. QR codes weren't here 10 years ago, but they're here now. Different things, techniques will change. Wisdom of the ages success principles will not change. Wisdom of the ages is just that. It's wisdom that's been here for thousands and thousands of years. And here's one. How do you turn $5,000 into $50,000? Or better yet, how do you turn $1,000 into 10,000? By putting the needs of others above yourself. Okay, 8 words. By putting the needs of others above yourself. All right, I'll say it again for my friends in the cheap seats who need to turn the volume up on this call. How do you turn $1,000 into $10,000? By putting the needs of others above yourself. All right. And I'll give you some examples of, well, Will, I don't really believe it. Okay, well, don't take it from me. All right. Take it from the book of Mark. The book of Mark from the Bible, chapter 9, verse 35. What said? And he sat down. This is talking about Christ, the Messiah. Okay. He says this. And he sat down and called the 12 and said unto them. So he's talking about leadership right now. All right. This is Jesus Christ, the Messiah, Yahusha, literally talking to his leadership group. This is how you talk to leaders. Okay. And it says right here, and he sat down and he called the 12 and said unto them, if any man or any person desired to be first, the same shall be last of all and servant of all. He's given you wisdom of the age of success principles that predate the Bible. This is stuff that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. The chief and the leaders and whoever, they are last. They put themselves last. They don't let anybody put them last. They don't let anybody put them down. They're not going to work with uncoachable, jealous, small-minded people. No. They're not going to work with those people. But for the people who want to be successful, they are going to put themselves first. I'll say it again. He sat down and called the 12, called the leadership group, and said unto them, didn't send them a text, didn't have somebody else tell them. He's communicating directly with his leadership. And he says, if anyone desires to be first, because look what it says, not everybody's going to want to be first. Not everybody's going to want to be a top earner. Not everyone's going to want to be a diamond or a millionaire or nothing like that. Some people do not desire that. But if anyone desire to be first, that person, the same, shall be last of all and servant of all. Okay, period. All right, let's get one more in there, just so you know that's not coincidence. Mark chapter 10, verse 31 says the following, but many that are first shall be last, and the last first. So Will, that verse sounds just like the other one. Why'd you read them both? Because that one's very important too, because it's very simple. And it says, but many that are first shall be last, and the last first. So what does that mean? I want you to focus on the part that says, but many. So there's so much room. It says, but many that are first shall be last, and the last first. There's many people that are last right now, working, really putting the work in, serving others that are going to be first. It's not just one top earner, it's top earners. It's not just one 6-figure diamond and $1 million diamond, it's $1 million diamonds, plural. 6-figure earners, plural. It says, but many. So there is many opportunities, many spaces in every single company for you to be at the top or near the top. It's not just one person, the person at the top, only the people at the top make the money. Well, I'll be fair. There's a lot of people that can be at the top. And it's possible that a lot of people can make a lot of money. But tell me this, for my people who hear the recordings and they say things to themselves like, oh, only the people at the top make the money, which isn't necessarily true. But hear me out. Hear me out. Is there any opportunity for finance or work in the world where the people at the top don't make all the money? I don't want you to think when people say that it's just network marketing, where the people who happen to put in the most work, who've served the most people, who've got the most products into the marketplace, who've trained the most people, even people that aren't even in their organization sometimes, who've spent the most money, who's lost the most sleep, who's traveled the most miles, who got the most no's, who's made the most sacrifices, who's lost the most time with their family. You think those people don't deserve to be at the top? Are you crazy? Of course they do. The people who miss the most football games. You just got to understand. You just got to make that click. Okay? When people say, oh, well, network marketing, only the people at the top make the money. They make all the money. Find me an opportunity, if one exists, where the people at the top don't make all the money. Show me somewhere, anywhere, where the people at the bottom make all the money. Show me that, and I promise you, I will be the first one there. I'll be the first one there. You find me an opportunity where the people who work the least, the laziest, that give the least value, the least service, make the least sacrifice, make all the money. You find me that, and we'll all go there tonight. You hear me? We go there tonight. Yes, there's even a hierarchy in criminal law. Even criminals understand this. But regular good folk just don't want, they understand it, they just don't want to accept it, okay? So don't rush the process. Don't rush it. Divine order will always flip the scoreboard. I'm gonna say that again. Somebody gonna miss that. There is no need to rush the process. You rush your work, you put the work in and get it over with. We're not joking about that. Get that done. But there's still a process that has to take place. Even if you're putting all the work in, doing all this recruiting, you got to kind of give your team some time to mature. You got to let the cream rise to the top, okay? So you don't need to rush the process. Divine order will always flip the scoreboard. Those who serve now will lead later. The quiet builders today will become the legends of tomorrow, okay? And just to let you know, if you don't follow that, if you don't put the work in and you want to become a student forever, eventually you will slip into analysis paralysis. That's what you hear about people who've been in this industry for a long time, long time. Well, I've been in network marketing 25 years and you ain't never made $1 million? You're not a six-figure earner every year? How long you been in network marketing? Man, I've been network marketing 15 years. And how much you've never made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year? You're not making that? And you've been in network marketing how? Man, I've been network marketing 30 years. I talked to a gentleman who was in network marketing for 50 years and over 100 companies. And he joined our company. I said, okay, we'll see what he's gonna do. And I told him day one, you gotta be coachable and teachable. And what did he do? He was exactly not coachable and teachable. He had bad habits from 50 years of failure with over 100 different programs. The companies he was naming that he was a part of, they were open before I was born. I had to look some of these up. This is no joke. And he eventually quit and went on to another program because that's what some people gonna do. 70 percenters are gonna 70 percenter. That's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna do. Okay, I kid you not. All right. If you're new here, or relatively new, or listen to this recording, you've only been with us a couple of days or weeks or a couple of months, I'm gonna tell you, you can still take advantage of beginner's luck. And that means be coachable, be teachable, and put the work in and get it over with. You've never heard of veteran's luck. That's not a thing. The longer you're here, the harder it is for you to go. We just have to acknowledge that. But if you're early, okay, you can still take advantage of beginner's luck. I hate to break it to you. It's harder for people like myself and others who've been here for a while or been in the industry for a while. It's harder for us to continue to get fired up if we got to start over again or we got to relaunch our business. It's a lot easier for the newbies. Okay, let me prove it to you before we move on to a little bit of training in the second half of the call. Let me prove it to you. How many people have recruited more people and retailed more product in your last 6 months in the company or your first 6 months in the company? How many people recruited more people and got more customers in their first 6 months or your most recent 6 months? It's the first 6 months for all of us. I kid you not. Yeah, because Marcus said 1,600 people first 6 months. No joke. Yeah, first 6 months. Now, you might have made more money in the last year, but it's all typically because of that work you put in your first 6 months, or really your first year for a lot of people when you decided to take it serious. Okay, now here's the funny part. You can recreate, I said it's going to be easy. You can recreate your first 6 months of activity anytime you want. Anytime you want. When we launched Go Desana, I know Coach Marcus, myself, Coach Charlotte, many others. But Simo, we all just look, we all were just like Myrtle Ross is right now. Myrtle Ross just putting work in like it's going out of style, being coachable and teachable and putting the work in. Okay, Clarence Hubbard just out there just putting the work in. We did that. We just restarted. Rick Burnett has been putting work in like he hadn't put in a minute. Just understand that we just had to reset, relaunch, and just go all out again. And you can do that at any time. Okay, I want you to be very, very clear about that. Do that anytime, all right? Well, let's dive into some coaching information. And again, enjoy this because it'll be some of the last how to do stuff we'll be doing for a while. Now, most network marketers are not bad at recruiting or selling. I'm gonna just be frank. We've all recruited. Most people do network marketing every day and just don't get paid. We have all made recommendations for products and services and places or movies or books or DVDs or personal trainers or colleges or churches or mosques. We've made recommendations for everything forever, and people use the stuff, and the companies get paid, but we don't. So it's not that network marketers aren't bad at selling or bad at recruiting. Network marketers are typically either A, lazy, okay, B, woefully ignorant, C, prideful, and I hate to break it to you, it's typically pride. They just think they know more than what they know, which is strange. All right. But sometimes they're not any of that. They're just bad at asking questions. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. A lot of times network marketers aren't bad at doing the things that work. They've done it their whole life and just never got paid. They're just bad at asking good questions. All right. 90% of DMs and text messages that you send die. They die. They don't recruit anybody. 90% of the messages a lot of people send because people talk too much and listen too little. All right. So when you talk, you're selling. When you ask questions, you're recruiting, you're enrolling, you're consulting, you're figuring out what products they need. You asking questions is better than you just talking. I cannot remember the last time I did a presentation where I mentioned Paula, Ben, Alexandra. I didn't do a lot of talking. I did a lot of asking, and based on what I was told, I was able to determine, okay, I need to show them the money because that's what their biggest need is. Or maybe I don't need to show them money. Maybe I need to show them a video on black seed oil and we sit down and watch it together. It's only a few minutes long because that's what they need. Okay. Not a lot of talking, a lot of listening. And when you do talk, it's more impactful. Okay. So here's the common reality in a lot of conversations. And here's the crazy part. This stuff is garbage, but it actually works. Here's the worst part. It works. It works if you want to make about $100 to $200 a month. Okay. That's how it works. All right. Stuff like this. Hey, are you open to making money online? Oh, one of my favorites. Let me tell you about this amazing product we just got. Let me tell you about this amazing product. Not necessarily a product launch, like we launch a product and get excited about it. But some people, that's all they do forever. They can't figure out why their social media following has went to a standstill. They can't figure out why they made $300, $400, $500 very quickly and haven't made $500 in a month since, because their social media and the way they deal with people has become a never-ending commercial. Just boo-boo, just terrible, just a never-ending commercial. It's always, here's my link, here's this, buy this, I need this, I need that, help me, buy this, please buy this, support my business. Don't support Walmart or Macy's, support me, buy for me, buy, buy, buy. And when all you say is buy, 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 all prospects are going to tell you is the same thing, buy, buy. It's going to be the same thing. You spell it different. You spell it different. But if the only words you're talking about is B-U-Y, buy, the only stuff prospects are eventually going to tell you is B-Y-E, buy, just like a commercial. Okay. A lot of people are answering questions that people never asked. A lot of people are giving information before earning attention. I'll say that one again. I know somebody missed that one. Some of you are so busy answering questions that people never asked you. Okay? You're not asking questions at all. You're answering questions that were never asked. And you're giving information before you earned attention. You're giving information before you earned attention. And when you do that, you sound like everybody else. Okay? You sound like everybody else. Hate to break it to you. All right? So people don't buy or join when they understand you. That's a good skill to have, to make yourself understood. It's a good skill to have. But people don't buy or join when they understand you. They buy or join when they feel understood. It goes back to the servant-driven mindset we just talked about. Okay? It goes back to the servant-driven mindset that the people that serve are going to be the leaders. All right, here's a great question you can ask some people, but you need to incorporate it in conversation. Okay. Where are you from? Is that a good question or what? Where are you from? That's a great question. All right. It'll get a conversation going. It'll continue the conversation. Man, you know what? It was so great meeting you the other day. I forgot to ask you. I know you live, down the street from us. You live in Florida, you live in Texas or whatever. I didn't ask you, where are you originally from? And you see the way I asked that, the way the inflection in my voice changed. Where are you actually from, man? I never asked you that. I forgot to ask last time. Man, I went home after seeing you at the gym and whatnot. Man, I forgot to ask you, man. Something told me I was so mad at myself when I got home. I forgot to ask Miriam where she was from. Where are you from originally? I'm just curious. It's those type of questions where you're earning the attention. And Will, how do I get people's attention? How do I get them interested in me? By being interested in them. You don't make it like a weirdo. You're just walking up to random strangers. Excuse me, sir, yes, where are you from? Look, that sounds crazy, but it might actually work. But I don't mean doing stuff like that. Just over the course of conversation. All right. And again, not going to teach you all of that. Icebreakers. Tom Big Al Schreider, I think it's probably the #1 selling network marketing book of all time. It's a very short book, maybe 100 pages, and literally all it is the right questions to ask people. No joke. It's one of my favorite books I've ever read, network marketing. I have several copies. It's even available online. A lot of it's available on YouTube for free under Icebreakers and Tom Schreider's Magic Words. You can start watching the YouTube videos today. Okay. But Will, you said we don't need no more information. You don't. But like I told you on this call, this is the last call where I'm going to be giving you how-to information. I told you that. Don't forget I said that like 2 or 3 times. Okay. Now, here's how to turn the $1,000 into $10,000. You need to figure out exactly how you made your first $1,000. Whatever exactly you did. How many people you talked to? What did you do? What did you say? Where did you say it? How did you do it? And then you simply want to help 10 people do the exact same thing you did. Those 10 people are going to make $1,000, and now you've made 10. That's the way these pay plans work. That's the way these pay plans work. Okay. I did not become $1 million earner at this company until, I don't know when it was, 2024, maybe, I'm not sure. But my point is, I had at least 10 six-figure earners in my organization that I had worked with, that I'd helped them make $100,000. That's just how it works. If you've made $5,000, congratulations. You actually have the skills it takes to make $5,000. If you have the skills it takes to make $5,000, or if you've made $5,000, do you think you have the skills to make $5,000? I didn't say 6, and I didn't say 10. Let me ask you in the chat. If you've made $5,000, do you, by default, know how to make $5,000 with these companies? Yes or no? Simple yes or no question. The answer is obvious. So if you already made $5,000, question number 1, and number 2, if you already obviously know what it takes to make $5,000, question number 3, can you teach what you already know? Now, don't teach everything we'll know or this, that, or a third, or Coach Mark. I didn't say all that. Can you just teach what you already know? If you can teach what you already know, well, listen, I know to get started at 50 BV or 100 BV. I know that I'm on these calls 2 or 3 nights a week for sure, sometimes 4. That's what I do. I know I use these products every day. Here's the products I use. And then 2 or 3 times a year, I go to an event. That's what I do. Every once in a while, I went back and looked at my social media. I made a post once every 2 weeks or once a week about products. I did that. That's all the things I did. I went to a meeting. I've been here for 6 months. I've only been to 2 meetings. But I went to 2 meetings. I remember the days that it was, and I invited guests and this, that, or a third. Those are the 6 things I did to make $5,000. Okay, great. If you want to do those things, I can assure you, I'm not going to make no guarantees. That's illegal. I can't do that. But I can assure you, you can put yourself in the exact same position to make $5,000 the exact same way I did. And because I'm looking backwards, you can probably make it faster than me because you have me to help you. I didn't have me to help me. Anybody who was there to help me, they'll be there to help you too. Don't worry. But you got me, okay? So when you help 10 people make $500, that's your 5,000 right there. It's just a multiples of 10. I don't know why, but that's the way these pay plans work with both of these companies. It's the strangest thing. We got $10,000 earners and go to Sana. That's 100 grand right there. Coach Marcus will be at 100 grand and go to Sana probably tomorrow. It's just how it goes. It's so simple. I think that's probably part of the problem, that it's that simple. Okay? It's that simple. So the last thing I'll give you tonight before we wrap up and this is fun. I've been learning social media. There have some things I'm doing on social media, and I know I don't want to gatekeep and things of that nature. But I'm gonna give you a couple of questions that I like. I'm gonna give you one that works really well. It's always worked really well. And before I give you that social media question that I highly recommend you write down and start using immediately. I've given it to you maybe once or twice before. I can always tell who's using it and who's not. But before I give you that question and we close the call, I want to give you a core message that remember, no matter how much you learn or unlearn or don't learn or do or don't do, the main thing, always the main thing, keep the main thing the main thing. And in network marketing, if I could summarize the main thing into one single word, if I could summarize keeping the main thing in network marketing down to one word, that word would be duplication. Not complication, not even presentation, okay? Not confrontation, not competition, okay? It's duplication. It's duplication. And if you understand U+2, if you really want to go big, U+3, and that's it. You find 2 or 3, you help them find 2 or 3. If that's all you ever did was duplicate, whatever it took, that's all you ever did was duplicate, you'll build wealth for sure. You will build stability for sure. You will build freedom for sure. Through what? Through simplicity and focus. It's just duplication. You cannot duplicate complexity. Now, this next part, just write this part down. You cannot duplicate complexity. I'll give everybody just 2 seconds to write that down because it's so important. I know we want to be complicated, y'all. Like, I get that. I know. I know we want to be complicated. I totally get it. We want to be complicated so bad. You cannot duplicate complexity. You can duplicate rhythm. RHYTHM, rhythm. You can duplicate rhythm. When everybody is in the rhythm of U+2 or 3 people, help them sponsor 2 or 3 people. When everybody's in the rhythm of getting products into the marketplace or sending a couple messages a day or doing 2 exposures a day or doing 5 presentations a week, whenever you figure out your rhythm, that's what's going to duplicate. When you have everybody in the choir singing the same song, a lot of people with a lot of potential have too much ego. They have too much ego. They would rather have a 4-string quartet with 3 or 4 people singing in the barbershop than have a choir of 100 to 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000 people because they can't be the choir director. A lot of ego involved there. A lot of ego. And well, their money will reflect barbershop quartet money. It will not ever reflect sold out stadium money, concert money. Okay. A lot of people are too caught up because of ego and they want a lot of a little, never understanding that it's far more income in having a little or a little of a lot. A little of a lot is far more than a lot of a little. Okay, I'll say that again for emphasis. A little of a lot, from a volume standpoint, anything else, is far greater than a lot of a little. Okay, so keep the main thing the main thing. And you know it, and I know it, and everybody knows it. If you can find 2 or 3 people, I don't care if it's this month, next month, or within the next 6 months. But if you find 2 or 3 people that are coachable and you teach them how to do the same thing, you're going to win. You can't lose. You cannot lose if that happens. You don't need more time. You need more focus. I don't need more information. I need more focus. I don't need more time. I need more focus. I don't need more people. I need more duplication. Boy, how about that? I don't need more time. I need more focus. I don't need more people. Now, if you don't have anybody on your team, you don't have any. If you don't have anybody, you got a couple of customers that order every now and again, but you don't have anybody that you sponsored on your team on this call getting this information. You don't have anybody on this call. You don't have a team. I'm not sure what you have, but it's not a team. So you might need more people. You need to get back in the trenches and get to recruiting and retailing. You're not ready for this call. But for those of you who have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 people, 2 or 3 of which are on the call, 1 or 2 of which are registered for Las Vegas, you can get away with just duplication. That's no joke. I would be spending 80% of my time trying to duplicate the coachable and teachable people I have, assuming they're coachable and teachable. I'd be spending 80% of my time doing that and 20% of my time retailing and recruiting new people. But 80% of my time will be spent working with my personally sponsored reps. Don't let ego get involved and you want to teach everybody team because you ain't got one. We got a lot of leaders in the industry, love doing that, boy. They love being on stage, love being on the whiteboard, love teaching, coaching, but ain't got 10 people on their team. Everybody gone. That's just how I go. Seen it too many times. Okay. So this is the question of the script. The question that I'll give you to finish up this call. And this is a social media question for people who aren't using social media to sell products 100 days in a row. This is for people who use social media to sell products maybe 20% of the time, because 20% of your effort will get 80% of your results. So most of your social media content, 8 out of 10 days, starts with the letter E. This is for those people. This is for people who 8 out of 10 days, your social media content starts with the letter E. Entertaining. It's engaging. It can be entertaining or engaging. It can be educational. It can be edifying, as in you edifying other people. It can be educational, entertaining, engaging. It can be empowering. Okay. It can be anything that starts with the letter E is typically a good rule of thumb for content on social media. Okay. And you want to engage with the people if they're engaging with your content. All right. And if you do that, if you have solid content, all right, good content, even if you got to copy and paste our content, all right, however you got to do it, but make sure it resonates with you and your core group. My content resonates with my core group of followers. My content don't always resonate with y'all. It's not for you. You already in the business. I love that you support it. I love that I support y'all content as well. But my content and your content should not be for the people who are already in the group. It should be for people that are not on your team yet, but it needs to resonate with them. Don't worry about it, will like it or not. I'm already here. Okay. But if you post content that resonates with your niche market, assuming you figured out the type of people you want to serve, the people you want to work with, the people you want to help, you are going to get followers. You're going to get followers. And I don't care if the follower is a guy or a girl. If I get a follower, I'm gonna look at their profile. If the profile is even halfway decent, as long as there ain't no crazy thirst trap pictures and foolishness on it, as long as the profile looks like, all right, this is a real profile. This person might be about making some money. I'm never gonna meet with them. Probably never gonna get on the phone with them. That's for sure. But I'm going to send this message and I'm going to give this to you word for word. In fact, I'm going to post it in the chat. I forgot about it. I'm going to read it twice, but I'm going to post it in the chat for note-taking purposes for everybody. I forgot that we can do that when I'm not on camera. I can do all kind of cool stuff. Well, that's crazy. All right. Look at Zoom. All right. I'm going to read it to you 2 times. I'm going to put it in the chat. So you can write it down or not. Totally up to you. Thank you for the follow. And I use their first name. Okay. So Michael, thank you for the follow. That means a lot. Most people don't know I help folks build businesses from their phone. But since you're here, I figured you should. And I put a space and I'm gonna paste this. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna paste it in the chat. And then I asked the question, want to check it out or should I keep it moving? Now that is specifically for copy paste text. I don't use words like want to check it out or should I keep it moving in regular conversation. It even sounds a little strange when I say it. Want to check it out or should I keep it moving? That's not for verbal. That is for copy paste. Okay? Because it looks correct. It looks the proper way it should look. And I'm going to tell you, 19 out of 20 of my followers, all right, maybe 19 out of 20, 17 out of 20 never respond. I'm not their friend on social media. They may not get the message for a week or a month. I got a message back from a young lady in Florida who got the message from a follower. She's retired. She's on a fixed income, wants to work business, did not realize I help people. She must have finally, maybe one of her grandkids helped her figure out how to check her spam folder on social media or her message request folder. Yeah, went to the other message request folder. I got the message back a year later. The message came back. Let me see. The message came back maybe a day or so ago. Let me see if I can scroll and find a date on this message. Too funny. And I was like, oh, I forgot. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. And this is this is Miss Barbara. Miss Barbara from Florida. So the message was sent. This is no joke. I'm looking at it right now. The message was sent August 21st, 2024 at 2:01 p.m. August 21st, 2024. Screenshot it for posterity. Okay. That's August 21st, 2024. I got the message back Thursday. This Thursday just passed at 4:31 p.m. This Thursday just passed. That is over a year. How crazy would it be if I was no longer involved with the company? How crazy would that be if I had already quit network marketing? How crazy would that be if I went back and got a job because I was not committed to my network marketing success? Is that bananas or what? It was over a year, 13 months. And I get a yes. I would like to learn more about how people make money online, blah, blah, blah. All right. So just understand it just works. And yeah, put their name first. Yes. Put your name first put their name first for sure. If you in a time crunch, I've done it when I didn't put people names and it still works. But when you put somebody's name and a comma and make that little thank you with the lowercase t, you're going to you'll get a slightly better result. Honestly, you'll get a slightly better result. You can't always put their name. All right. You can't always put their name. I'll send them to a website now, Rhonda, like the websites we have already set up. I believe you have one already as well, or you have one being built. I'm not 100% sure, but what I used to do was send YouTube videos. That was me, okay, me doing stuff. All right, me, and or me talking about results, success of people I helped. Then I realized that although that worked, it was not duplicatable. So it was ending with them. They would join a lot of times, but it was ending with them because they're not me. It wasn't duplicatable. And so then I realized, man, I need to do things that are duplicatable. So then I started to send, and I still recommend this for a lot of people. If you don't have your own website already built, you send just a copy of the Zoom that Coach Marcus has that he does every week that's uploaded to YouTube. Send the most recent one because it has the most recent information and it's super duplicatable. All right, but Will, if I do all of the work myself and I get three-way calls set up and I do all of this stuff, I'm sponsoring about 40 to 50% of the people. That's fine. That's fine if you want to go that route. What's your sponsorship percentage when you send Coach Marcus's Zoom? About 10%. Okay, I would do that. Why? Because I can send a copy paste link to a YouTube video quite literally 40, 50 people a day. I can only get scheduled maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 phone calls or in-person Zooms or FaceTimes a day. And that is a stressful, very tiring thing. And most people do not have the skill sets to duplicate that at all. And then you waiting on leadership to get ready for a three-way phone call for you, and the person I might not even show up. Okay. So I recommend the link. I recommend a copy paste link. If you don't have the, what is it, $170 now? I think it's still on sale. It used to be like $300. If you don't have $160, $170 to get your website built, that is totally fine. And that is not an issue. Some people are just not technically savvy and can't get it built, can't figure it out. And that's okay too. Okay. If that's the case and it's totally fine, send that link to Coach Marcus's video. And I know some people, well, I don't want to send that link. I don't like it. Listen up. I'm gonna tell you just like this. I'm gonna tell you how I got involved in this company for people who don't understand. I got an email first off. So I learned about this company and the previous company I was at before from an email, first off, because I was on the leads list. A lot of people don't know y'all on the leads list. Y'all better check. I'm telling you, people be checking their spam folders. But I got an email from the person who eventually became my sponsor at the network marketing company I was here, and then at before HBN and HBN. So I got an email. Okay, that was number one. Now, when I got the email, all right, the person did not get on the phone with me at all. They did not get on the phone with me, didn't get me on no live record. They sent me a recording of a video. True story. They sent me a video of an HBN presentation. It was about an hour long, the HBN presentation, and it was on Heart and Body Naturals. And I'm gonna tell you who was on this call. I'm gonna tell you the 4 people that was on this call. Coach Kimberly Wilkins was on this call. Coach Marcus Jones was on this call. I think Tim, who's no longer with the company, that boy he down bad right now. So people going through it. Cat who used to be with our company, but who's no longer with, he got terminated for being goofy, was on the call. And who else? Oh, and Keith Francis, not Keith Foster, Keith Francis, who's still with our company today. Keith Francis was on the call. So it was Coach Kimberly and 3 gentlemen on the call, one of which was Marcus Jones. One of the other gentlemen got terminated. Didn't matter to me. I didn't care if he was with the company or not. It was irrelevant. But the information in specific, Keith opened up the call like he hosted it, like Miriam does. And then Coach Kimberly and Coach Marcus talked about the product. Coach Marcus, I think, talked about the money. I think Coach Kimberly talked about the product, kind of like that was like the rhythm to the video. I remember like it was yesterday. And I saw that video, and that was all I needed. Coach Marcus might remember that video. Oh, Rhonda was in that one too? Girl, stop. Okay, yeah. Well, if Keith was Rhonda's sponsor, Rhonda was on that video too. But what I really remembered was Coach Marcus, and I remember Coach Kimberly was there. But yeah, Rhonda was too. Yeah. And so that's the only video I saw. I would keep it a buck. That's the only video I saw. It didn't really. I was driving. I wasn't even 100% focused on it. But when you at high noon, you at high noon, and I joined. With just like a gift card for Prosper Essential Oil, which was only at Heart Body Naturals back then. It wasn't that Go to Sun. We wouldn't even know about Go to Sana back then, and Nova Coffee wasn't out yet. It was Prosper Essential Oil. Coach Marcus was new to HBN. He had only been in the company 3 months. So you don't have to be here in those 6 months to get on a video with leadership, you know what I'm saying, and make a duplicatable tool. And then when I sponsored my first 2 reps, okay, my first customer was my mom. Y'all already know how that go. Y'all already know how that go. If I'm healthy, she's gonna be healthy. That's how that go. But my first rep was Melissa, who's made about, she's not super active right now, but she's still on auto ship. She's made over $300,000 with the company, which is really cool. Most people will never do that. But I sent her the video. I didn't do no presentation. I didn't know nothing yet. Didn't know nothing about nothing. I sent her the video and she joined. And I think she sent Lillian Corville maybe the video. And then after everybody was getting situated, we decided to start doing home meetings and stuff like that. But the video is the thing that kicked it off. I can't even remember if it was that good or not. It don't matter. It might only have a 10% closing rate, but it'll close 100% of the people that are high noon. I'm gonna say that again. A video might have a 10% closing rate, but if shown, it will close 100% of the people who are at high noon. Okay? And that's how we built it. I got an email and we used a duplicatable video recording. And I don't care if you don't like it. I don't like how Coach Marcus talk. We'll talk too fast. I don't like Miriam. I don't like that. We don't care. We simply know that the right tool to the right person at the right time will get $1 million earners sponsored in your business. 6-figure earners and $1 million earners will join your business behind a video that's duplicatable that you don't even like. Look, Charlotte got a 10-minute video. There it is, Coach Charlotte, 6-figure earner, Coach Charlotte. She said she got a 10-minute video, period, point blank. And Coach Marcus said, I didn't know Coach Will or his sponsor. Exactly. That is duplication, okay? That's duplication. So a lot of you, so we'll close with this. You don't need to know a whole lot more stuff. You just need to do the stuff you know. You don't need to know a whole lot more stuff. You just need to do the stuff you know. And if that video made me my first $100 to $200, $300, guess what? I needed to help 10 people to make $300, and I made my first 3,000. In fact, I think it was 5,000. Lillian was open. That's how I go. Everybody wasn't open, but Lillian and Butch Corville in Breaux Bridge, Louisiana was, and they're still here today. Believe that. Okay? So just understand, when I made my first $500, I helped 10 people make their first $500 with the same little video. Then we start doing meetings once we figured out everything was real, but that came later. Okay, came later. I wasn't even living in Louisiana at the time. So that came later. And then what ended up happening, I think I might have been in Dallas. I'm not sure yet. But my point is, Once I helped 10 people make the same $500 I made, I remember Coach Marcus posted this the other day. It was a video of a call we did, and it said something like Will Zanders, gold or platinum, $5,000 platinum or whatever it was. It was some type of thing where we were doing a presentation, just like the ones y'all get for free, that you get to get off YouTube. And it had on there, you know, one of the guests in some capacity, Will Zanders, 5K gold or silver or something. Whatever I was with the company, I had made $5,000. And my rank was whatever it was. It wasn't ruby, diamond, emerald, wasn't nothing gangster like that. Okay. But I knew that because I made $5,000, I knew how to help 10 people make $5,000, and that would get me to 50. Well, Will, how did you help those 10 people make $5,000? Because I kept talking to people, sharing the video, talking to people in person, sharing the video, not in person. And I taught them exactly how to help 10 people make $500 a piece with the same video and the same type of meetings. And they all made their 5,000. Then I was at 50,000. And after $50,000, y'all couldn't tell me nothing. Not with this company. Once I made my first 50,000, you couldn't tell me nothing because I knew the company was real. I knew it was real. Okay. All right. So that's what we got tonight. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate y'all time. I appreciate Coach Marcus. I appreciate Coach Miriam as well for helping us on that. Coach Charlotte said she joined the business. This is so funny. She said, Coach Charlotte said, I joined the business after being repeatedly invited to a Zoom. She said the first Zoom she saw made sense. I love that. Oh, I love that so much. Oh, and happy birthday to Joynice Martin. Happy birthday, Joynice. I believe we met at a meeting in North Carolina that Mr. and Mrs. Rasan Owens put on. That was really a great time there. I'm pretty sure that was Joynice at that meeting in North Carolina. But either way, happy birthday, Joynice. And y'all have a great evening. So this is Sunday. We will catch up with y'all tomorrow, Monday, on the testimonial call. And then we'll see y'all Tuesday night. The one and only Coach Seymour Greenwich Blake will be in the building. And I may have some announcements and updates for y'all on Tuesday as well. Okay. But good night. God bless. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we will see y'all on the next one.